Here's a graphic that will make your head spin.
Yeah.
Mahomes on deep throws from 2018 to 2022. Hey, he threw 4 a game, 45 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, passer rating 112. Last 2 years, 3 attempts, that's okay.
It's been terrible.
4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a passer rating of around 48, and deep throw is considered, 10 air yards. 20 air yards. I was shocked by this. I know there's been a little bit of a dip.
No, it's been totally.
But 4 touchdowns.
That's amazing.
Well, so here's the thing that is, I don't want to say what is interesting. He kind of stopped throwing deep in 2022, the year he won league MVP and set the all-time single-season yardage record, because it was so much run after catch stuff. That's when, you know what I mean? It was a ton of that, but when he did throw deep, he was effective. So I feel last year, 2023, it seems like gets chalked up to the drops. You know what I mean? And then nobody cared anyway because they won the Super Bowl. Last year to me was the perfect storm of sucking in the deep passing game. It started with, Mahomes started the year with some of the worst football he's played as a pro. Remember, we talked about it. It was like in the first 4 games of the year, each game, he had a pick that was like, what was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't unlucky. It wasn't off somebody's hands.
Head scratchers.
Right. It was. They won the games anyway, but it was weird. So that happens. In the midst of that, you have all of the wide receiver injuries, most notably Rashee Rice in that 4th game. Then you have the true disintegration of your tackle position, which gives you no time to throw deep. Left tackle got hurt, and Jawan Taylor had a terrible year.
Yep.
And then on top of all that, you're chasing this history. The defense is playing great. You've been so good late in games that it's like, you know what? We ain't got it. We don't have the horses for it. The only real threat we have downfield's a rookie. And at the time, he can't get his feet in bounds. We're going to play the most boring, conservative style of offense there is. Lean on the defense, then I'll take care of it at the end. All of that came together, which created a boring, ineffective, deep passing game. I think almost none of that is the case right now. You know what I mean? I think that right now, obviously, the receivers are healthy. I think Mahomes, as opposed to coming off back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs and maybe a more, relaxed offseason, is coming off hearing you make fun of him for throwing touchdowns in the Super Bowl, which seems rude, but whatever, you're a Mahomes guy. They don't have the specter of the three-peat weighing on them, and, all of that, and I think a greatly improved tackle spot on both sides of the offensive line, left and right. So I think it should be back, but I also think that's why it went away.
Look, if he's mediocre as he's been like these last 2 years roughly, and they keep winning, they win 14 or more games, I'm going to long for the days when he was throwing 40-something touchdowns a year. But it'll be like, hey, they're winning. He's the best. It is what it is. But if they're 11-ish wins and he's not, he's the guy he's been the last 2 years, then I actually think there's reason for concern. These last 2 years, I haven't been concerned at all, even as he hasn't played up to his usual standard. Like you said, 2 years ago, it was the drops. Last year, it was the injuries. But this year, this is where he's ranked over the last 2 years, obviously very not good for Patrick Mahomes. But you got Xavier Worthy, who you mentioned the deep ball game kind of went away in 2022. That's after Tyreek left. Yeah. So now you do have another guy who is a burner like that, and you got Hollywood Brown who will be healthy. Rashee, when he gets back, I think is huge, and you've got 2 years of I haven't played close to my standard for motivation. So if he doesn't come out and light it up, and they're not winning 15 games, then I think there's real reason for wow. He's still great, but what's going on with Patrick Mahomes?
You know how Aaron Rodgers free play touchdowns we started to see all the time, and the narrative started to be like, you know what? Aaron Rodgers likes to play a little bit more conservatively, and if a guy jumps off sides, free play, he'll hit a guy in a touchdown. Like, oh, well, that's kind of always there. And I know I joke around about the Super Bowl touchdown, but it's like, the game's out of hand. I'm going to air it out. And it worked. Do you think part of it is only his mental, like, you know what, I'm going to turn it loose now. I care less.
I think that There is a reason no team has ever come anywhere close to a three-peat before the Chiefs. And and I think there was a real weight of that as the season progressed, especially as they went relatively deep into the season undefeated as well, and they weren't playing that. It was so weird. They weren't playing their best, but they were undefeated, and they were going for a third championship, you know, and so and you were on the fly, like adding Kareem Hunt, adding Juju, went to 3 different left tackles, have our guard play tackle. So all those things played into it. I think that there is, and I also think there was for Patrick, because I think we are misremembered. The year you described, mediocre numbers, 11 wins, that was the 2023 season. That's why they went on the road. That's why they were underdogs throughout the playoffs. And then he, you know, he beats Josh, beats Lamar, wins the Super Bowl with a perfect drive of dinks and dunks in overtime. And then maybe, again, I'm not speaking for Patrick, but I know how I would react. Be like, you know what? I'm going to be awesome when it counts no matter what. And it almost kind of happened again this year, because in the playoffs this year, they scored some of their highest point totals of the year until the Philly team annihilated them. So I think there will be a lot of, we can play more freely this year than they were able to play last year. And I think getting Josh Simmons at pick 32 as the left tackle, when he was left tackle 1 on a lot of people's draft boards before the knee injury, and the concern was, oh, he fell in the draft because people didn't know how much he'd be able to play his rookie year, and he is a full go day 1 of training camp, could be one of the biggest additions of the
I feel that way about Stephon.
Yeah, there you go. Agreed. If people didn't know if he'd be ready to go, he's ready to go. Absolutely. He had a hard time catching that puppy, which makes me think maybe he lost a step.
He actually did. He actually looked mobile. More on that in Weird and Wonderful. Meanwhile, in the NFC, the champs now have the 3rd best odds, Brew, followed by the Lions, Commanders, and then a tie for 4th between San Fran and Green Bay. Remember, Bills and the Ravens tied for 1st to win the Super Bowl. Philly and Detroit are the 2 top faves by a large margin in the NFC. Here's how their ranks were. Point differential 1 and 2. I love that. Points per game Lions had the most, and obviously the defense was towards the Eagles. Do you agree that the NFC is Philly and Detroit's to lose?
On paper, yes. In reality, no. All right, the game's not played on paper. These are the last 6 years in the NFC.
Go ahead.
All right, Washington's in the NFC title game, 4 wins the season before. Detroit, the year before that, 9 wins the season before. Philly coming off a 9-win season. The Rams coming off a 10-win season. Tampa Bay coming off a 7-win season. I get it, they got Tom Brady. San Francisco coming off a 4-win season.
Those are teams in the title game?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's always been a team getting in the title game that we didn't expect. And I just look, I mean, these aren't surprises, but these 4 teams, to me, have a very good shot at getting to the NFC title game, if not beyond, with Philly and Detroit. San Francisco, the Rams, who almost beat Philly last year in the playoffs, and the Rams are better this year, I believe. Green Bay, I think, is going to have a bounce-back year with J. Love. And Washington. Yeah. So I think I do not think it is a 2-team race at all.
Yeah, I think it's Philly deserves to be first, more on them in a second, and then Detroit is in a group with a bunch of other teams. Because I think Detroit, I think the coordinator losses are significant. I think the offensive line losses are significant. I don't think they will have the #1 offense in football again, and I think the defense will be better, but not world-changing better. So if Philly's here, to me, you have Washington, Detroit, and the Rams together, and then another group that I would include Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Green Bay, and Chicago in. And you guys might say Chicago doesn't deserve to be in it. I'm just saying it's my list. What I would.
But that last group sounds like you don't think those are real contenders.
I think the NFC is super wide open if Philly hiccups. I think Philly is markedly better than everyone. And as far as the if Philly hiccups, and we've shown you this graphic before, but if your quarterback isn't Brady or Mahomes, the year after winning the Super Bowl, you tend not to make it. That's this century. Now, Brady and Mahomes have won 10 of the Super Bowls this century, but that still leaves another 15 available. 7 missed the playoffs, only 3 won a playoff game, and only 1 team made it back. That was Russ's Seahawks.
That's
and so,
interesting.
you know what I mean? It's just really hard.
So-
Because the other thing we haven't talked about much with Philly is they did, and it's credit to Howie Roseman because he stocked the team so deep, they lost a ton of impact guys in free agency, as every Super Bowl champion does, because Milton Williams goes to your team, guys get paid elsewhere. So I think if Philly takes a step back, I think it's wide open. I don't look at, and so I wouldn't be shocked if Tampa, you know what I mean, is in the
I'd be
NFC
shocked if they got
Championship
to the
game.
Super Bowl.
Brew, hold on, before you talk about Philly taking a step back, I think the issue is a lot of the quarterbacks of those winning teams may have worn their Super Bowl ring after they won the Super Bowl, which Jalen Hurts has not. Maybe. Brew, your reaction to Jalen Hurts not even putting on his Super Bowl ring.
I mean, I don't like it. I love it. I love this. That's the leader.
Come on.
That is
so
the leader.
guys who put on their ring aren't.
You know what? I'll put my ring on when I'm retired. I'm going after another ring. The ring is for collection on my trophy case. All right? It's for you guys on TV to say he's got 4 rings. It's not for me to wear around as I'm playing. Complacency can sink in. Jalen Hurts strikes me as a man who knows who he is. You're right, Nick. If a guy wears his ring, that doesn't mean he's not dialed in. But Jalen Hurts is saying, for me, it would mean I'm dialed in. So I'm not wearing my ring. I love it.
So is, by that logic, I'm just curious, is it a bad sign that the other 52 guys did wear it?
They're not
Just for him.
Oh, okay.
The quarterback
They're not
has
the
different
leader.
rules.
Got it. Okay,
Different rules.
No problem.
There is
what about
something-
Sirianni? Do you think he wore it?
Well, Sirianni, yes. I think he wears
Sirianni
it all the
probably
time.
lost it.
I think
He
wears
probably
it
has it hanging on
all
his chain.
all the time. He wears it. He'll wear it cooking. He'll wear it kneading bread. He's never taking it off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.